I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind.
Hi, good evening and welcome to Between the Lines, presented to you by Livewire Sports. On today's show, our guest will be Kevin Tigan Sheppard, straight out of St. Croix. Mr. Sheppard is a man that wears many hats, so we can get to know him a little bit today. I'm talking about coach, athlete, movie actor, all kind of things Mr. Sheppard does here in our community and abroad. Mr. Sheppard, how are you doing today?
Man, love, bro. Big Daddy Shaq. It's about time, like, why bring me on the show, man? I was wondering what going on with this quarantine invite. Are they home doing nothing, bro?
We're glad to have our superstar here on camera with us here today. We know this is going to be a good show, very informative for the public. We'll get to know you a little bit for those who don't know you and the ones who are here just to support you because of who you are and what you do in your community. We welcome them as well. All right, so we're going to start the show like this. First of all, I watch a basketball game where you playing, and I say, hey, Sheppard going off, he's scoring a lot of points. My friend say, oh, you mean Tigan? I say, who is Tigan? So I want to know, how did you get the name Tigan?
Well, that's a family trait. You know, all we have a lot of families from the Eastern Caribbean and Long Island and stuff like that. My whole entire family on my father's side was pretty much Antiguan. So I grew up in an Antiguan family from Jump Street. You know what I'm saying? So it was about 10, 11 years old. I was 10, 11 years old. I was playing on Lumako in San Farm. And one of my best friends, lay rest in peace, Roy James, he was like, man, your family is Antigua. My whole family is Antigua too. And he was like, dude, we is Tigan. And from that, the legend is born. That was it. Nobody knew my name. Nobody know who Kevin Sheppard is. It was all about Tigan. That's it. Even my mother called me Tigan.
And usually that's how it goes. Once you get a good nickname with a stick and you just forget everything about who you are, what your name is, just go by that nickname.
It was crazy because it fit, you know. It was able to represent the Virgin Islands the same way, but able to represent my heritage. So it just fit. And it's from 12 years old today, I'm 41 years old, and still my mother called me Tigan. It's crazy.
So I heard you speak about growing up playing basketball. Did you play only basketball? Did you play other sports growing up as well?
Well, you know, actually, my first sport was actually soccer. Because my whole entire family played soccer. Actually, my father, Keith Sheppard, he was one of the greatest soccer players in the Caribbean. He's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, if you ever get a chance to go to Antigua, you will see all kind of nickname after him, Keith Sheppard Stadium. So he was a world-class athlete. The only problem is I never get to see the man play. So that was a big problem, you know what I'm saying? But I know my father was great and he set the legacy. And so forth, my uncles, all them guys was big soccer fans. So my first sport, when I was pretty much 8, 9, 10 years old, my first sport was basically soccer. I mean, here's a story that nobody knew. At age 15, I was recruited by a big team in England called Manchester United. I don't know if you know much about soccer. Wow. But I was recruited at 15 years old to go to England to play in a youth camp, which was a big deal. You know, after I spoke with my parents and stuff like that, I didn't really want to leave St. Croix at the age of 15. It would have been a very difficult cultural shock. Correct. So I never pursued it. But soccer was actually my first sport.
All right, so we just had a live wire exclusive because nobody know that you said. So we're gonna definitely keep that down in the live wire record books right there.
But wait, let me let you know. If you Wikipedia me, you know I'm the leading scorer of the Virgin Islands soccer national team. Me. You better look that up. You and me doing your homework, Shaq.
So you telling me
I was playing with 2 national teams. VI soccer national team and the basketball national team. It was actually like what you call a pull and toe because Lucy Richards was the president of basketball, and then we have the soccer president. So both of them was pulling, hey, we need Shep, we need Shep, we need Shep. So I was actually playing on 2 national teams.
No, my first impression of Tigan was he's a basketball player, but you just come and just shock me, shock everybody else. He's a soccer
Well, your
player
name is
first.
Shaq, right? Your
He's
name is Shaq. It's our kid.
a soccer player first. You were on the national team for 2 teams, the leading scorer in goals. How much goals you score?
Um, I don't know. You have to Wikipedia that. It's a lot. Obviously, the Virgin Islands team was very young then, so somebody probably done pass me. But
I just
um,
wanted you to know that in school
I'd say
growing
more
up,
than
they
10.
tell me when in school growing up, they used to tell me that Wikipedia ain't a credible source. They say you might have put in them scores yourself.
Say again, I missed that.
They say Wikipedia is not a credible source growing up in school, so they say you might have entered the scores on your own.
Bullet, you said 8 shots already, right? That's crazy. Hey,
All right, let's.
I never even met Wikipedia. That man got on point. I was a leading scorer. I represented the Virgin Islands very well. I actually played very tough teams against Haiti, Canada. I scored against the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. I scored against. I remember scoring against Antigua. I scored against what's our boys BBI. So I had a lot of games I scored in, but basketball really was always a passion. That was it. I just like ball.
All right, so let's move into basketball. And since basketball is your thing, you said the first time you played basketball was about elementary, correct?
Yes,
And
I
what made
played. I played sporadically. I didn't because soccer was so. Soccer took over my life, and now my time. I used to just play basketball for fun. And after I went to Elena Christian, I think I didn't even play my 7th grade year. I played my 8th grade year. I met a coach by the name of Coach Peters. Peters. He was coaching the soccer team, but I had him in gym class, and he saw me playing, and he was like, "Why you ain't playing? Why you ain't playing basketball?" I was like, "As a soccer man, I ain't playing no basketball. I good at this." He said, "Yeah, but you're good at basketball too. Give it a try." And the rest was history. I gave it a try, and then I was scoring all these points, and this is what it is.
so you playing basketball about 20, 30 years of your life, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And I remember some wars. I remember going over to Rock and playing man like Smokey when we were so young. I don't know if you know Smokey. Back in them days, he was a monster. Raheem Smith, still a best friend to me to this day, and a very good coach. I hope the UVI. I know I get into a little mess over there. Call Raheem Smith and give Raheem Smith that job, my boy. Raheem is good enough to lead that team. I tell you. I'm not saying it because he's one of my best friends. That's one of the greatest minds in the Virgin Islands that a lot of people don't know. So, big shout out to Raheem, man. I need to see you on that UVI sideline.
Now, with you playing basketball 20, well, recently, and going back to about 20, 30 years, how has the basketball scene changed in the Virgin Islands to you?
I mean, obviously, our talent has dropped. I mean, it's visual. I mean, you're an athlete. You've been up. You up in our age. I'm a little bit older than you, but obviously, you saw the talent that we had. And it was both islands. St. Croix, we had great talent. St. Thomas, we had great talent. You had guys like Jabari Brown going to Oklahoma, going to the Final Four. You have Jerome. You have Akil Lewis. I mean, you have Killer, Curtis Stone. I mean, most of the athletes in the Virgin Islands back then, all of us was able to go to college. And we gotta give a big shout out to Cyril Benjamin, we call him CV. He was very instrumental to me in terms of helping me getting an opportunity to go to college, along with my coach Haywood from Complex, who is still coaching today. So we just had a lot of talent, man. It was just unthinkable. Today, we need to put on these PlayStation, put on these video games. We start go outside, start playing the games again. So the talent job.
All right, so which high school did you attend?
Well, I went to Complex when the Complex opened in '95. It was the new school on the block. So I left from Elena to go to Complex. Coach Haywood was the coach, and from day one, we was basically the new child of the Virgin Islands. So we always have a big chip. I used to say a cookie on our shoulder. So I used to, we always have this mentality in Complex. We don't get no respect in St. Croix, and we ain't get no respect in St. Thomas. So we ain't complaining. So the thing about this thing, everybody be crying about referee cheating and this thing. We don't do that at complex. Yes, as coaches, we might write the referee, but at the end of the day, we ain't looking for no excuses. We come into war. And that's what it been from day one. We come into war.
Now, how was your transition from complex to actually playing at the collegiate level?
Well, honestly, it was very difficult. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. And this is a lot of Virgin Island athletes need to know. When I left St. Croix, I was averaging like 38, 40 points a game. You won't even believe.
Wow.
I mean, guys, I used to score like 30 points, and guys bragging about they shut me down. So you know how many points I used to score. So obviously, pretty much dominating high school basketball, getting a Division One scholarship, going to Jacksonville University. You think the transition would have been smooth, but trust me, I mean, it came to many points I wanted to quit. I used to call Coach Hill, Coach CB, and let these guys know, hey man, this scenery ain't for me. And it wasn't so much that I was so much homesick. It was just a whirlwind. I mean, when you arrive at day one, I'm gonna give you a great story. You know this thing that we have in the Virgin Islands, we got crucial time and phone time and VI time.
VI time.
We used to
Definitely.
practice at 5 o'clock in the morning in Jacksonville University. I used to show up at 4:55. You want to believe the coach used to chew my? I don't even know if I can say that in your life. You want to believe the coach
Definitely
used to
not.
chew me out, and I am 5 minutes early. This man used to chew me out, telling me I am late. Why I didn't understand by transitioning to the States was when practice started at 5 o'clock. Practice starts at 5. You ain't coming in there at 5:01, 5:05. If you want to get stretched, if you want to get taped, if you want to get any kind of injuries you have or any nursery, you better come to the practice at 4 o'clock and get all them things done. Because once practice starts at 5, everybody's going 100 miles per hour. And it was like a whirlwind. It's like, what? We ain't even stretching. We ain't even doing nothing, son. It was like, it was crazy. I mean, I pretty much had to relearn the game. And especially being a point guard, and you have to know not only your position, but everybody's position on the court. It was tough. It was tough. It's not hard, but it was tough just relearning the game.
So you had to mentally prepare for it. You were ready talent-wise. What about strength and size? Were you undersized?
Well, I was 5'11", 60, so I was pretty good size for a point guard, but I was only 168 pounds, so I was actually pretty light. Okay, I was a power cup, and in those days we used to hand check. Now you got a James Harden rule, Steph Curry rule, these little, sissy rules that we play with now. Back then, guys could have hit you, elbow you, push you, and there were no foul. So I had to get stronger. I used to double up in the weight room, just trying to get stronger. I had to eat well. I had to sleep because you won't believe the schedule. You waking up at 5, you're going to train, you're going to run, then you got to go to class, then you got individual training at 1, then you got to go back to class, then you have practice at 4, then you have study all at 7, then you got to do all that all over again. And it was really mentally tough and draining if you never went through something like that.
Talk to us about your transition beyond college with when it comes to basketball. Where did you go after college, and how did you get there?
Well, what really helped my game, honestly, I have to give thanks to Pussy Richards. He was then the president of the VI national basketball team. He gave me an opportunity to play on the VI team when I was actually in college. We actually won the gold medal in 2002 in St. Thomas when we beat Dominican Republic, one of the best teams the Virgin Islands ever had. You can look that up. It's crazy. But what the national team gave me, it gave me a preview of what the professional scene will be like. So I was around professionals such like Calvin White, who is now ironically my boss for Sports Park and Recreation. A great guy, by the way. I was around Jabari Brown, I was around Roger Bell, Leanne Tremahan. These guys was already playing professional, so I had a preview how to prepare myself as a professional. So the transition was very easy for me in terms of going from college to pro.
With you being a pro athlete, where are some of the places that you played throughout your professional
You have
career?
time on this show? I hope you got time. Let me keep it like this. I'm gonna give you the most interesting.
Mhm.
Spain, obviously one of the best places in the world. Argentina,
Mhm.
Venezuela, Puerto Rico. Um, I played in Poland, Israel, and kind of ironically, I played in Iran, which is two countries who don't like each other, but I've been in both places. I went to China. Um, oh, man, I've been so many places. Basketball has pretty much opened the door. And it really made me a lot more grounded as a person because you get to see so many different cultures and you get to see how people really live. So I, I've been everywhere. The only place I haven't been in terms of continent is Africa.
Do you have any more space in your passport book? Because you just name about
Man,
10 to 15 different countries.
I used to change my passport every 2 years. I had so many stamps. When I used to come home, I used to tell my agent, man, I think these guys think I'm a drug dealer, man. So I'm gonna just say that my passport is last so I can get a new passport because they don't want to let me pass because I have so many stamps in so many different places. So I used to just change every 2 years. I just said, man, my passport get last. It was crazy.
Now, what was it like playing at the professional level?
I mean, it's different because I tell a lot of young guys is this: when you play in high school, you're playing basically for fun. You're enjoying yourself, win or lose. It doesn't really matter. Then you move into college, then you realize this thing started to turn into like a little mini business. You don't do too well. You're about to get cut. You're about to get cut or whatever. Then you get into professional. It really gets serious because now you're playing with grown man money. So the seriousness, you're professional. That you have to be a student of the game. You gotta watch a lot of film. Um, you gotta be very disciplined with your body. You gotta take care of yourself. Ain't no trainers and coaches coming around there trying to get you. You have to do all these things by yourself. So you have to be extremely self-disciplined. You gotta have a short memory. Stop thinking about all the things you do well and starting to focus on the things you are not good at in order to have no weaknesses. So the professional level is such a science in terms of you just want to be perfect
Right.
and just being around professionals and see how these guys work. I mean, I could give you one story real quickly. I was in Israel and I played with this guy from Malik District, Malik Dixon. You probably don't know him. He didn't last long in the NBA. He played 2 years. And he was over there with Maccabi Rishon, and me and him used to wake up. He was showing me the ropes. He was older than me, obviously, and we'll go shooting. And this man actually will be shooting for about 30 minutes straight and don't miss. He'll be making like 60, 70 shots in a row. And these were things that my mind was a block. I was like, dude, are you serious? You haven't missed yet. But when he started to teach me, dude, the problem with me and you is you are counting how many shots I make. I'm only concentrating about making that one shot. Because he was such a professional. He never get caught out of the moment. It was all about making that one play. And as soon as I got that, my game just took off. And then I was like, wow, this, I wish I had this. Because if I had this, man, in St. Croix, I'd have probably be averaging like 81 like Kobe. This was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
Now, the goal for a lot of kids growing up, whether they're 5 years old or whether they're in high school, is to make it to the NBA when it comes to basketball. How do you feel about them playing internationally? Would you suggest that they play internationally if they are not able to make it to the NBA?
Hell yeah. I mean, look, let me tell you something. All of us dream about playing in the NBA growing up because that's the only league you really see on TV.
Correct.
So, but in reality, man, you can make so much money overseas. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I was easily making more money than the governor. So please don't look up how much I used to make. But I was making 6 digits. It was a great, I mean, I had a great living. I could buy anything I want. I could do anything. And you can make a great living playing overseas. It's a misnomer to believe that NBA is it and that's it. No. We have a great league right next door to us, and that's in Puerto Rico. One of the best leagues in the world, pays very well. You can make an extremely great. It's hot. It's tough to get in there. I ain't gonna lie to you. But if you do get in, the sky's the limit. But it's so many feeble leagues around the world. And let me tell you something. And I said this a lot in St. Croix. I don't really speak too much on St. Thomas. Hopefully St. Thomas can hear me tonight, but on the whole Virgin Islands. I have played all over the world. And let me tell you, some of the teams that I play on, I can easily come back to the Virgin Islands and pick up a team and win a championship. We had so many great, talented players that could have played overseas. It's ridiculous. The problem is we just never had the opportunity. We have we never really had the vision in terms of developing our own professional league here. So a lot of our talent just go to straight. But believe me, we had top class.
And I know with you being able to play over there, I know that you would be willing to be a mentor for a lot of younger players that would like to travel overseas and play ball. So I think they should take that step towards playing international ball if you finish college and you want someplace else to play basketball. All right. So
Can you say that again, because you break in and out at the last question?
sorry about that. I was saying that I know with you being a player from here that played away, that you would be more than willing to assist those
Via,
guys
man.
in
This is
getting
Via,
overseas.
because I'm getting things like Via. All these commercial Pumper and Eddie have on Via. My Via is shit. I'm about to go after Via and let these man know they need to up their game, because I should not be buffering in 2020. Okay, this is crazy.
No, we're just saying that I forgot to mention an
Okay, go ahead.
important part. The views expressed on this show are not those of Live Wire Sports. All right. Let's talk about you playing overseas.
Okay, good disclaimer. You lucky.
Let's talk about you playing overseas. You were a one-of-a-kind kind of player when it came to playing in Iran specifically. You were the Michael Jordan of Iran. The fans respected you. The community respected you. They cheered you on every time you played. What was it like being the guy in Iran?
I mean, honestly, and I don't want to sound too cocky, everywhere I played, I've always really been the guy. So it was very easily fitting in being the guy. And I always had a little cockiness to me in terms of, some people say it's cocky. I was just super confident, because when you leave in the Virgin Islands to go and play in all these big people countries, you kind of have to have an edge on you to show that you belong. So I always have this little edge, like, dude, I am the man, kind of mentality.
Right.
But Iran was special because, first of all, I never thought I would ever go to that country. All these crazy stories we hear about Aladdin and people on camel and all kind of Arabian night stories. All that was, all that was crap. All that was, look, wherever CNN or Fox is telling you, you just turn your TV off, because these dudes are just lying. Real talk. Iran was one of the best places I've ever been in the world. Pretty. It was just like New York. It was skyscrapers. I was like, dude, I ain't never seen nothing like this on TV. Why they keep showing me a bunch of snakes and camel in the desert? Like, this is how it is. It was nothing close to what I saw. So first of all, the place was absolutely beautiful. Second, the fans was just, you're playing in front of 5,000-10,000 people. A lot of times you play in these games, you can't even hear the whistle. The fans they were just crazy. It was probably the loudest fans I ever played in front of. I really think it's because they used to separate the women on one side and the man on the next. The man them used to just be pissed they were sitting next to a bunch of other men. So that can get you emotions up, you know what I'm saying? But it was just super loud. When you saw the movie itself, my team was a first-year team. It wasn't. Let's be honest, my team was not good. But it didn't really it never really showed the true talent of Iran. If you really look up the Iran history, the best team in Asia is not China. It's not Korea. It's actually Iran for the last 10 to 12 years. They have won every Asian championship. So they have superior talent. And they even had an NBA player by the name of Hamadi. I played against him a couple of times. He's pretty damn good. So they had players. The problem was they were just not on my team. That was the problem. My team stunk. So I had to do everything. And I was just getting wave and wave and wave and wave of players coming at me. And just like the Virgin Island mentality, I just won't quit. You could have sent the whole of Iran. I was going to battle you. And I was going down with a fight. And it just made the movie that great, because I inspired guys who didn't have that type of personality to believe in themselves. So You know, all that being said, the next year I was out of that town. I went to a better team, and they weren't gonna give me no more headache. Son. That was crazy playing with that team. They
So
were
you
not good,
mentioned
yo.
the movie. A lot of people may not know you were in a movie. The movie is called what?
The Iran Job. The movie's called Iran Job. It used to be on Netflix. I think it's on YouTube now. Um, HBO and Paramount, they actually did it. They came up to me and it was like a guy by the name of Till Shooter. He came up to me. He was like, "Look, man, we heard we have American players playing here. We would like to do a story about you. We heard you are one of the best players who never made it to the NBA and stuff like that. And we really would like to do a story on you because you're a damn good player." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I would like to do it because I would like to show a lot of people at St. Croix, in specifically, that I wasn't playing people in wheelchair because I was scoring 40 and 50. And guys was like, dude, you playing people on camel, you playing against monkey and I gotta think that like, nah, this thing is real." So it was an opportunity for them to see the life I was living. So I was all in. I didn't know the movie would have been that big. I didn't know that the country would have go through the turmoil they went through once you watch the film.
Right.
So it was a great basketball story, but it was a great story for people in general. And I was very happy I did it.
Who are some of the greatest players that you have ever played against on a basketball court?
You want me to go locally? Yeah, you want me to just go over?
You could do both. Let's start locally.
Okay, so locally, well, I'm gonna do St. Croix and St. Thomas because we have so many good players. I don't like to have like a top five. So I'll give you my top five in St. Croix.
Okay.
The best ever you probably heard of all the time is Zoe. Zoe was like our Jesus, so to speak, if we can put it without blaspheming. Zoba
Right.
was everything. This guy, when I was growing up, was dunking two basketball. He was doing things. He was going to Oak Hill Academy, the number one high school in Virginia. He was just so good, and we heard so many stories about him that everybody wanted to be like him. The problem is, I wasn't 6'5" like him, so he couldn't be my favorite player because I couldn't dunk two basketball. So
Right.
my second best player would be a guy by the name of Kevin King. He was more in my range. He was 6 feet. He could ball handle. He could do everything. So I really patterned most of my game after Kevin King. He's my favorite all-time player of all time. And then I will have to say Cuthbert Victor, which you probably know. He's one of my best friends. You need to get him on your show. He's very quiet, but he has a story out of this world. Um, then I'll have to go with my coach, Dean Haywood. He was very instrumental to me, but he was such a tough player when he was playing my lead. I mean, I have never met such a tough guy like Dean Haywood. And then I'll finish it with Donald Bow because Donald Bow did something for my game where every summer, even though I was playing for Complex, Coach Bow and myself used to play one-on-one every day. And I will not leave the gym until I beat Coach Bow. And Coach Bow will not leave until he keep beating me. And I will not quit. We will literally be in the gym 8 to 10 hours in the gym, just playing one-on-one. It was crazy. So those will be my top five. I could have added in a lot more, but those would be my special top five. In terms of St. Thomas, I will have to add in Raheem. That's my boy. I did. Raheem was a better point guard than me. That's Raheem Smith for all who don't know him. He used to play with the Chicken Hawks. And I felt for Raheem because when I was in Complex and all of us was playing high school, most of Charlotte and Mali players used to go to the States and play. So they sent away Boo, they sent away Jabari Brown, they sent away what's my guy that went to California. But most of
Jerome.
Charlotte and Mali players, Jerome, they never stayed at Charlotte and Mali. So Raheem had to kind of go up against the big three in terms of Central Complex and the Dorken, basically leading a team. And the guy was just so intelligent. He was always in the game. And when I had an opportunity to play with him, when we went with CB to play against those guys in Chicago, we won that goal. And I really get to see how he thinks and how he moves. I know he was going to be a great coach because his mind was just special in terms of he knew how to just get everybody involved. He could score 2, 3, 4 points and still dominated the game. And I always respected him for that. So I always will have him in my top five. Jabari Brown, very special to me. I played with him 2002, and I also played with him in China and in the university game when we won gold medal. And Jabari Brown is an NBA player. I mean, look, hands down.
Right.
That's a story I would like to hear. I'm like, wow, what happened? I would like to get him on my show. What happened? Jabari Brown was one of the best players. He was as quick as me at 6'10". He could jump out the gym and grab a coin off the backboard. He could shoot. A lot of people think he can't. He will never miss that jump shot at the free throw line. His 15-footer was deadly. He was one of the best defender. Jabari Brown was just flat out an NBA player who never played the NBA. So he obviously is in my top right there. I got playing Curtis Tongue, which is killer. Like you say, his name speaks for himself. Curtis Tongue was a monster. Gotta give him respect. Gotta give my boy Hail King Caesar. I know he didn't pan out in terms of college and stuff like that, but he was a beast in high school. When we used to go to Oregon, he had his old cheering squad. Hail King Caesar. Hail King Caesar. We used to say like, okay, we catch you in cruise. Ain't nobody hailing no more. We want a piece of you, King. So, I mean, you gotta respect game because he had game. But he was a monster. And then I have this player that I keep talking about to this day. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe you can give me some insight. I had a player in Dorican. He was one of the best baseball players as well. His name was Ricky. This dude was so good. Ricky, he was a point guard. I can't remember his last name, but he was so good. But they said he was the best player in baseball, and he went baseball, so he never pursued basketball. But man, I was one of my toughest players I ever had to play against. He was just that good.
We will definitely do some. We're gonna do some research on Ricky and find out exactly who he was and get back to you about that.
Ricky was a monster, man. Smooth, could shoot. I mean, I know Akil mad with me right now. We got Akil used to be a gun. Akil and me was like 1-2. Akil is my boy. Akil was like Coach T 2.0. We was guns. When we entered the gym, shot going up, forget the rest. But something about Ricky, man. Ricky back then was so good, so calm, so cool. I mean, he was one of the best players I ever see from St. Thomas. And in terms of internationally, I mean, I would be a tough one because I played against the Dream Team twice. Obviously, I played against Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Jason Kidd. Played against, I played against Allen Iverson. I've pretty much seen the top of the top and the highest of the highest competition. So it's going to be hard to say anybody can beat all of those guys. All of those guys was very special.
That's a good catalog of players you have there. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 all-star teams. That's a great catalog.
It's crazy.
Of
and when you play against the Dream Team are no joke because whenever they make a sub, they ain't losing anything. It's like you gain the same talent, so you never have a chance to rest. So, I mean, it was one of the greatest experiences to see. You know what really impressed me about LeBron James, and he don't get a lot of credit? I remember playing, at that time, I was the best player in the BI team and Cuthbert Victor. And I remember isolation right against Carmelo because the trick is Carmelo don't play no deep. So we had to play isolation right and wave the guy through. So I was supposed to take Carmelo one-on-one. And before I did my move, LeBron James called out what I was going to do. And when I asked him at the end of the day, like, dude, how you know what I was going to do? He said, man, I watch you on TV. I was so shocked that the fact that LeBron James, who is in the NBA, would be watching me on tape. It shows me at the professional level, these guys don't take nothing for chance. These guys are so prepared. He knew exactly what I was going to do. He scouted my move and he understood. And I said, man, for me to get at that level, I have to be that type of mentality in terms of watching film, preparing myself, taking notes, and just being a complete pro. So I was super impressed with the USA team. We might just look at their athleticism, but it's a game within a game. These dudes are super prepared, trust me.
All right, so one of our followers on live, I just said live on the stream that the person that you were talking about is Ricky Martin from Udorican.
Yes, Ricky Martin. That boy was a bad boy. They, I heard he was great in baseball as well, but I never see him play baseball. All I can tell you is that boy was a he won't know you. I hated
No,
playing against Ricky. Ricky, if you're listening, I hated playing against.
oh no. So can you tell us about your best game or your best career, your best stats for a game?
Well, my best career points. Well, my best game period. I was playing in a playoff in Iran. I played against a team called Kurdistan. It was in the playoff first round, and I scored 56 points. I had 13 threes. Uh, I man, I just couldn't miss. I was in the zone. I didn't even know how many points I had. At the end of the day, the reporter came up to me and my player, my best friend who was in the movie, Zoran, he's actually from Serbia, a very good basketball country. He was next to me. And the reporter was asking me, man, do you know how much points you had tonight? I said, no. He said, man, you almost had a perfect game. I was like, no, I don't think so. I mean, I missed two 3 pointers that I thought should have made. I made four bad turnovers. I was very pissed at that. And I told him, and I missed three free throws. I was 9 for 12. I was very pissed. I should have made those free throws because I'm a 90% free throw shooter. So I was only concentrating on everything I did back. After the report, my best friend, well, Dushan at the time, he was my best friend overseas. He was like, dude, you don't belong here. You belong in the NBA. I said, why? He said, man, you had 56 points and you complaining about the things you did wrong. You on another level. You on another level. You need to leave here today. I was like, dude, I never really care about the things I did well. I only focus on the things that I was doing bad because I hate making mistakes. I know it's part of the game, but it eats me out when I don't make the right play as a point guard and as a leader. So it was my best game. We won the game, which was good, but that was actually my best game. 56 points, 13 threes. I shot 67% 1 year in Puerto Rico. I think 2009. David Ido can look that up when I played with Guaynabo from 3 pointer. That was my best 3 point percentage. That's actually pretty good. So if people don't know what I'm talking about, Steph Curry and most of those guys shoot 39, 40, 41, 42%. We call that great shooting. I shot 67% in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
That's not great shooting. That's just unbelievable. That was like, whenever I touched that ball going in the hoop.
Now,
It was crazy.
did you ever have the opportunity to try out or play in the NBA? And if you didn't, do you think you had a chance to make it?
Well, in 2007, um, I I got an invite for like camps. Not before the NBA had mini camps and regular camps, so it wasn't a main camp. So I won't call it a trial, but I was called up to work out with Atlanta Hawks, and I went to Atlanta and I was working out with some of the guys. I did well. Obviously, everyone knew I was an NBA player, but sometimes luck of the job really can help and hurt you. That year, they had just signed Tyron Lue. Tyron Lue, the coach of Cleveland Cavaliers, he was actually playing at Los Angeles Lakers when Allen Iverson walked over his head. So he already have a spot at the point, right? And then they had Anthony Johnson, who played with Allen Iverson in Philadelphia. He was the vet. And they just drafted Celine Stoudemire, which was Damon Stoudemire's brother. All that being said, I held more on my own, but you gotta be realistic. They're not gonna cut Tyronn Lue. They're not gonna cut Anthony Johnson, and they wasn't. And they just drafted Celine Stoudemire from Portland. So it was tough sledding. So I was offered to go to the NBDL. NBDL. I went and worked out with Fayetteville, North Carolina. I did well. Coach Capo, I met with him. We spoke. He liked me. But the NBL was just starting out and they weren't really paying anything. It was like really a waste of a season with a hope and a dream of getting to the NBA for like $30,000. And I sat down and I spoke with my agent and I said, what do you want to do? He asked me what I want to do. He said, look, man, I have a team in Venezuela right now. They want to pay you 6 digits. What you gonna do? You gonna stay here? You wanna go to Venezuela? Like, look, man, I just came out of college. I'm broke. I'm trying to make these 6 things. I don't know how realistic this NBL thing is gonna be. So I went to Venezuela, and the rest was history. I never tried out again. Hindsight, looking back, I probably think I should have probably played a year just to see if I would have had another opportunity because a lot of guys did it that route in terms of Roger Bell, Carlos Arroyo, two of my good friends, Carlos Arroyo from Puerto Rico. He played many years in the NBA, and also Roger Bell, who is another Virgin Islander. He came through the CBA route, but I was not patient. I just wanted to make money. I just wanted to I just wanted to be important. And
Right.
I went the overseas route. It was fine with me.
Now, switching your roles from being a player to being a coach, you are the head coach of the Complex Barracudas, correct?
Yes, St. Croix Educational Complex. When I retired in 2001, Coach Haywood gave me the opportunity to lead the team. He's still a coach on the team also, but he really wanted me to get these guys prepared in terms of mentally for the next level. So I was very thankful that he gave me the opportunity to run the ship.
And you said, how long have you been in coaching altogether? Not just in high school, just altogether. How long have you been a coach?
Well, Complex gave me the first start, so it's from 2011 until now, pretty much, so 9 years. And I went, uh, I went one year and coached in Puerto Rico with a sub 25 team. We won the championship over there. I was an assistant coach with Guaynabo Bets. I played for that team in Puerto Rico, which is Guaynabo, and I lived 2 years in Puerto Rico, and then I came back because I didn't really want it to retire to be in Puerto Rico. I wanted to retire to help Virgin Islands athletes to get to the next level. It was my passion and my dream to see more and more Tim Duncans and Cuthbert Victor and Jabari Brown and Kevin Sheppard get an opportunity to pursue their dream than just to chase a job. So coaching to me is not so much about a job, making money. It's more about advancing the Virgin Islands town.
Now, we're living in a very interesting time right now with this COVID-19 in the world. How did that affect your season and your team?
Well, luckily for us, I mean, the pandemic, I call it the pandemic instead of the pandemic. I have a little conspiracy mind theory in my mind.
A
This is
lot of
not the
people
views
do.
of like wire. This is the views of Coach T. So I don't really believe in this COVID thing. I do believe there is a disease that is COVID, but I do believe that it's not what they're making it out to be. All that being said, we had finished our season. Central I was crowned the champion. Uh, Kind of hurt me in terms of the other things I do because I do run the summer leagues at St. Croix. Uh, I run the girls league. I run the 10 to 12, 13 to 15, 13 to 15. Um, so, and then I do the summer camps. So these are the things I love to do working with kids. And I'm a person like this. I don't work with just complex players. I work with everyone, and I'm thankful for Coach Baker down about and Coach Zoro. We have this mentality when we play on the court, we are going at it 100%. But once we leave, the only thing we care about is the development of the players. So, for instance, if I have a player on complex, I will send him to Coach Baker and say, "Look, man, this guy needs a little bit more toughness. You need to get in him. Send him back to me." Coach Baker would send a guy to me. Hey, I need him to get a little bit more strategic with this. His jump shot is not like this. So we share players all the time, and we work with everyone. We don't really believe in terms of school. We believe in terms of talent. Period. So that's the beauty about our relationship here at St. Croix. And COVID-19 has stopped that for a little bit. You know, hopefully we can get back to normalcy, and I'll be back out there with the guys. And we'll see how it goes. It's up in the air. I'm gonna tell you one thing about coaching, and let me say this. And this is a story I always tell when I get into it, because a lot of people don't understand. You see the things that you see when you're watching the game. I realized when I came back that a lot of people were just watching the game and they didn't really understand what they're watching. So I'll give you the perfect example. You see, if you ever go back and you look at, this is the most famous clip. Spurs versus Miami Heat game 6 when Ray Allen hit that three.
Yep.
If you ever watch that tape, you know the main consensus of the Virgin Islands that Coach Popovich cannot coach. He should have never taken Tim Duncan out of the game. If Tim Duncan was in the game, he would have grabbed that rebound. Spurs would have won that championship, and that's it. And that's when I realized when Coach Ball and myself get together, we realize, like, you know what? A lot of people really don't watch tape, because if you really watch that tape, trust me, you can go and watch it again after I say this. And for you, the whole Virgin Islands, if you really watch the tape, I don't want to hear about Popovich can't coach, if Timmy was in the game, blah 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 blah. If you really watch that tape, the person who messed up that sequence was actually Tony Parker. Tony Parker did not switch when a team needs a 3-point shot. Every coach will tell their players, switch everything, give up the 2, don't give up no 3. There was a side screen left with Chalmers and LeBron James. Kawhi switched on Chalmers, and Tony Parker did not switch. Because he did not switch, you forced Diallo to have to contest the jump shot from LeBron James, which free up Chris Bosh for the rebound.
Right.
That is what actually happened, right? And if you watch it, that's what you're going to see. But if you're only going to speak from emotion and say, well, Popovich can't coach, he ain't no good, then, hey, sometimes I watch Popovich, I understand why he doesn't even answer questions, because he realized most of the population is idiots. You haven't watched the film. So it don't make sense explaining anything to you when you already have your preempted notion that that's what happened. So watch the film again and you'll see the person who messed up that play was Tony Parker. And Tony Parker knows it. And one thing at a professional level, when you make a mistake, everybody knows it. Okay? So you watch that. Shane, I know you're there in the background, you're a coach. Go and watch the tape. Tony Parker did not switch. He was last. He messed up the whole damn play. That's what happened.
With your season being over already this year, what is your outlook for next year, knowing the guys you have returning to your basketball team?
I mean, that's a good question, because I don't really look for next year. I like to stay in the moment. So I mean, I'm just, wow, that's a good one. You actually stopped me. Nobody don't normally stamp the voice like that, but that's a good one, Shaq. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I haven't really been thinking ahead. I'm just more focusing on what's happening in the now. I'm watching it now, everything that's happening with this COVID. I hope everybody do, keep a little social distance, whatever. Make sure you take care of yourself. Get a lot of vitamin D in your system, vitamin C. Make sure your immune system is strong. But also, I'm watching a lot of these protests. I'm hoping the Virgin Islands don't jump into these protests, because, I mean, if it's any way to rekindle this virus, I mean, social distancing is dead with all these protests happening in the mainland and now all over the world. So, if there was ever a way to spread a disease to the entire world, this would be it. So, yeah, I don't fall for it, man. I mean, that's just my outlook for now. Maybe if you bring me back to live wire again and I won't be a stranger, then I will probably have more news for you, Shaq. How about that?
You sound like you're owning a second interview here, because we have a lot to talk to you about. You're a man that have a lot going on. All right. In your opinion, how can we improve the caliber of high school sports?
Well, our number one thing is our coaches have to come to one understanding that even though all of us love to win, and ain't nobody love to win more than us in the Virgin Islands, we understand that's true. But the true winning of these athletes is when we send them away and they become successful. If we're not going to teach the game in a way that they can leave us and enter on the team and become successful, we are failing. I am failing. I have told many of my players, whether it be complex central, if I have not passed anything on to you when you leave me, I have failed you, because I understood how hard it is to transition from not knowing any type of plays to learning a whole playbook. A lot of guys say we don't need to run plays. We really don't. Because my team in complex, we don't run a lot of plays, but we do need structure. Guys need to know where to run. Guys needs to know positioning on the court. Guys need to know understanding what shot is a good shot or a bad shot. Today the game is played from outside in instead of from inside out. It's all threes. Guys are shooting 23s and they make two and they think they're great shooters. This is crazy. This is not basketball. This will not get them to the level they need to be. All of us need to get together, St. Croix, St. Thomas. Let we just have one format. Let we find a way to develop. Let we find a way to outsource our talent. And if any leaders is listening tonight, which I'm pretty sure, because you know you have a very popular show. I mean, everybody's watching. Like, what? We need to have our own professional league here in the Virgin Islands. We need to have some kind of um, goal at the end of the rainbow. We can't just keep playing, and we have nothing to say to it. We have enough talent here in all sports. I'm speaking basketball, but we have great talent in baseball. We have excellent talent in track and field. We have boxing. We have volleyball. I mean, the Virgin Islands is just rich with talent. And if we're gonna keep sitting back and just saying, "VI got a lot of raw talent, but we don't do nothing with it," we're just wasting, and we're just wasting our future, and we're wasting the potential for us to create many more Virgin Island athletes.
How do you feel about this new thing with players skipping college to go to the G League on a contract?
I mean, I'm gonna be a little biased, to be honest, because I went to college, and college was a great experience for me. So I only can speak for myself. I needed college. I needed that type of discipline, like we spoke about. I needed to rethink my game. You know, I just needed college. I mean, just leaving from high school to go straight into the professional world, no one teaches you. When you go to the pros, no one is going to ask you to live. No one is going to ask you to run. No one is going to ask you to eat right. They're going to say, hey, you need to come in here at 180 pounds. And if you're over 180 pounds at your position, we're going to fine you $5,000 every pound you're coming in here at this time. If you don't show up at this time, we're going to fine. Everything is a fine, which means you have to be such an adult.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a good support system, you're going to fail, because the professional life is more than what you see on the basketball court. It's a lot of self-discipline, and I think you can gain that from college, you know. So I would push more players to go to college so they can get that type of experience, that type of discipline, that type of understanding. And I mean, that's just my view. I mean, someone else who has a better situation, if they want to go pro, by all means go pro. But college helps. I'm gonna tell you, my coach, and this is funny, you probably don't know this. My coach was Coach Durham at Jacksonville University. He was the same coach of his son right now is playing for the New Jersey Nets. He's from St. Thomas. He just got drafted by the Nets, 7-footer.
Nicholas Claxton.
I coached him with Claxton. I coached him on the BI junior national team. His father, Claxton, played for my coach at the University of Georgia. So that's to show you how small the circle is. So once I got to Jacksonville University, I already have the Virgin Islands background in terms of my coach. I already know how we do it. He had to bring me in. So one day I came down and I shot a 3, and I made it. And coach would just get on me like, dude, you know where you are? You're a point guard. What the hell? What are you doing? Nobody knew you was going to shoot that shot. I said, coach, I made it. He said, get on the effing line. Get on the bleeping line. I said, okay. We got on the line. I did my suicide. He was like, you're a point guard. You need to be a point guard. And blah, 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 blah. Nobody knows you're going to shoot that shot. Don't shoot that shot. You want to believe Shaq? 3 plays later, I came back down and shoot the same shot, and I made it. And I look at him, and he said, you better make all of them. I said, I will. Because I said, that's my shot. So, you know, you have that little rivalry in terms of, and you won't believe, coach told me when I was finished my senior year, that was one of his most important and most impressive things he's ever seen from a player. Because everyone, once you get to college, can be such of a robot that whatever the coaches tell you, you kind of just fall in line and just do what you have to do. But every once in a while, you have to push a little button to see what you can get away with. And I knew that was my game. I used to come down the court and pull up the threes. And this was before Steph Curry, because I'm older than Steph Curry. So I came down, I jacked up a three, I made it. He looked at me, he said, "You better make all of them." I said, "I will." And he was like, "Dude," that's when he know he had a plan. And that was it. So you need these challenges in college, man. You need it.
I some allow you to pour on another hat because we talked about you playing, coaching, being an actor in movies, all kind of stuff. Let's talk about your daily job. What is your role at Sports Park and Recreation?
Well, first of all, I'd like to give thanks to Commissioner White, Calvin White. He really pushed for me to get this opportunity because, truth be told, I retired in 2011. I was trying to get into Sports Park in 2011. We ain't gonna go in there this story. You can only imagine how hard it is. But it just shows me that despite anything else, sometimes we have to change some things in the Virgin Islands because with all of what I come with in terms of degree and my experience, it probably should have never taken 8 years for me to get into Sports Park. All that being said, Calvert White definitely pushed my name, and he spoke with the governor. And the governor was agree, and they brought me on to the sport. So I'm basically doing what I've always been doing because even though I didn't work with Sports Park, I started my nonprofit organization, which was Choices Basketball Association, and I have been running summer leagues on St. Croix from since 2005. So that's 15 years. This is the only year we haven't run a summer league at St. Croix, and I've been running summer leagues all the age brackets. And despite whatever, I always find a way just to see that the kids them have something to do, and it's always my goal to pretty much give them the stage because someone did it for me. That's my passion. If they wanted for Dean Haywood, Mr. Peters, Alan Bow, CB, Cyril Benjamin, it will never be a Kevin Sheppard. So somebody gave their time to make sure I had a lead so I could play it. So when I came back, it was my goal to do the same. And I don't do it for no money. I don't do it for no profit, anything. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing in terms of working now with Sports Park. So everything I do, I just do it with Sports Park. Obviously, I'm getting a lot more funding through Sports Park so I can do a lot more. And I'm actually branching out in other sports. So now I'm doing baseball and softball. I don't know if you know about me. I mean, Shane tried to steal my voice, but I am the original voice of St. Croix. So anytime you hear anybody on the voice, that's me. You know what I'm saying? You come to St. Croix and hear anybody on the mic, that's me.
All right. So, any special programs or anything that Sports Park is coming out with that you would like to mention? This is your opportunity to give us a real exclusive on live wire.
Well, we had a lot of programs that we had before COVID-19, which really hurt us in terms of our summer leagues. And we was going to take a couple of teams to Orlando to get an opportunity to play AAU basketball. All that obviously stopped. We was working very closely with Coach Judge Malloy. He's a very good friend of mine and coach his sons. So COVID really put a hurt on us. Right now, we basically just looking to go through more virtual stuff because of the COVID-19. So I'm planning to do like a virtual coaching camp in terms of showing skills, shooting skills. I like to show a lot of shooting skills because, even though I'm old, I still can shoot. I can't shoot like Khalid Grenard, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the best shooters in the world. But once I get on fire, I can shoot with the best of the world. Shane will tell you, I don't play that. Once this shot get going, it's bullet and it's off the chain. I won't miss. So I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to brag, right? But if anyone on my campus them watching, I had a bet with them. So last year in camp, I told them, man, when I used to play, I used to shoot 100 free throws a game. And it's like, how much you used to make in a row? I said the most I ever made was 107. And every generation was like, you can't make 110, but you can. So one day in camp, and I hope Chad you're watching because I need you to be my judge. I set all of them down. I said, I'm gonna make 50 straight. They said, Coach, if you make 50 straight, we're gonna be running for an hour straight. I said, okay, that's a bet. They was rebounding. I was making the shots. I didn't make 50 straight. I made 137 straight. So you know how long they were running, right? So I say all this to say, not to brag, but I say all this to show guys, the guys in the camp, that when you put limitations on yourself, all you're doing is putting the limitation on you. Throughout my whole career, I thought I was playing against a Carlos Arroyo. I thought I was playing against a JJ Barrera, Allen Iverson. I thought I was playing against a JC Pitt. Yes, I'm playing against those guys physically. But the greatest opponent you will ever face on any court is always going to be yourself. You have to have the greatest belief in yourself no matter what. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And that was a lesson I gave those guys in that camp. And from that, I was like God to them. They couldn't believe. They was like, oh my God, this guy. Oh my God. It was crazy.
So you talked about Sarah Benjamin as one of your former coaches. Who do you honestly think will win a shootout between you two?
Between me and CB?
Mm-hmm.
CB was a great shooter. I ain't gonna lie. Look, let me tell you, I have great shooters I've met in the BI. I'm gonna give you a couple. Khalid, one of the best I've ever seen. He knows that. I told him, dude, you are a way better shooter than me. Tevan Peltier, he was a monster. He was no joke. You had one. You have this Caucasian guy in St. Croix. His name was Dan. He was a monster. Also, you had a guy named Mr. Pugh. He was a monster. But Coffee can shoot as well. But what I learned about shooting, for me, and like I said, like I just explained, your greatest opponent is you. The trick that Peltier and Khalid and all those guys have over me, they can just step on the court and be on fire. I can't do nothing about that. I have to get warm up. I gotta get in rhythm. I gotta get my release and everything on point. But once I get all those three things that I just mentioned to you on point, believe me, I can shoot with anyone in the world. Because for me, it's all about being in the right frame of mind, my body, my structure, my balance, my follow through. And once I got all that set, it don't matter who I'm shooting against. I can shoot with anyone. So I guess that's a long way to say CB will probably beat me because he's gonna get a faster jump shot. Those guys are gonna outshoot me for the start. But if we're shooting longevity, once I get rhythm, we're gonna have a shootout. We are going to have a shootout.
So we're talking 10 shots right now. Who gonna win?
He'll beat me. 10 shots for me. Because I won't say I can't make 10 in a row. But for me, I have to warm up.
Right.
I don't have no other way. I'm a jump shooter. Some guys can stand up and shoot. Some guys can think. And as you know, as a jump shooter, being an athlete, you have to get your body warm. You can't just go on the court and just jump and shoot. You're not going to be consistent making that shot. I know you understand because he's an athlete.
Definitely.
A jump shooter is the hardest to get in rhythm. If I could stand up and spot shoot, then it's simple. All I need to do is just go on the court and just let my hand work. But because I'm a jump shooter, I have to get into jumping rhythm. And once I get into that rhythm, then I can shoot. So the best thing we'll say is, if you want me to shoot against Khalid or CV and something like that, give me 30 minutes to warm up first, and then let's go. Then it's on. How about that?
This might be our next segment. We might have to have some challenges going on with our live wire
So
guests.
virtual challenge is on. Let's go.
All right. So right now we're gonna we're gonna open up the live stream for any questions that they would like to send in to ask you. But before that, we have a new segment just for you. You starting it up, so you can't mess it up. All right. Is this or that?
No problem.
So we're gonna ask you this or that. I want you to give a little explanation as to your answer and why you chose that one.
Wait, my daughter wants to say hi. Come say hi, because you there. Come say hi. She been sitting here for about 5 minutes. Come now. Come get out. All right, go ahead.
All right, so you ready?
No cookie. No. All right, go ahead.
Pate or Johnny cake?
Johnny cake.
Why?
Chicken leg and Johnny cake. That's it. Party take too long, son. I need that Johnny cake. I need to go to Chicken Shack and get that Johnny cake popping. It's on. Easy.
Right. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
But you have an Adidas hat on. I'm confused.
I know, but I only like the Adidas hat because I don't know, it just fits well. It's COVID-19, but I was a Nike and Jordan fan, so it's easily to go with Nike. But I do like Adidas as well.
All right. Dream team or redeem team?
Ouch. Please, Dream Team, without a doubt. Michael Jordan. Ain't even no competition. You shut that down. Look, you saw the last dance, right? You saw the last dance. For all these
Exactly.
LeBron James people who keep saying LeBron is like Mike, please go and put your head in the toilet bowl and shut up. You have no idea.
So Michael Jordan is the GOAT, greatest of all time.
I don't know if he's a goat. He might be the goat, the sheep, the pig, the cow, whoever you want to name him. He's that.
All of it. Gold medal or NBA championship?
You know, I will have to say gold medal because as much championship I've won, the greatest championship I ever won was playing for the Virgin Islands because it's just a different pride, man. You just have a something come over you. It's in terms of your body, like, dude, I represented my country well. We stands for something. So when we were able to beat these big teams like Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and Cuba, it moves you like, dude, these people have 10 million people. We struggling to get 100,000, if that much. And we whooping these dudes' ass, man. That's you can't take that lightly.
All right. Bungee jumping or skydiving?
Can I say none?
That's not an option.
You know what? I'm gonna say skydiving. I don't want to go down with nobody rubber band. At least with skydiving, if the parachute don't work, I can take off my shirt and try to make a mini parachute or something. But man, if that rubber band pop, I dead in one. No, sir. No, I'll probably go skydiving.
And the last one. Choose your answer carefully. Weak at life
Okay, I
where I
got you.
cannot protect you after this life is over.
Okay,
No,
go
you
ahead.
being from
Don't
St.
play
Croix.
political.
You being from
Go
St.
ahead.
Croix, I wouldn't make you pick between those two schools over there. So we can pick from the two schools over here. If you were going to high school in St. Thomas, would you want it to be at Charlotte Amali or Ivan
Idorken.
Idorken?
Idorken.
You gotta tell me why. You have to explain that one.
Because the Dorican and Complex have the same type of small-minded personality. It was always about Caribs and friggin' Hawks. Caribs and Hawks. Everything is Caribs and Hawks, and you don't know. We was like the stepchild. And every time you go on the news, like even this year, they came out, the top two team, Caribs and Hawks, Caribs and Hawks, Caribs and Hawks. I'm like, who the hell is making these rankings? Shane? We beat Charlotte and only 5 out of 6 times. When Complex is gonna get inside the top two? What is this? What is this? But it was always Caribs and Hawks, Caribs and Hawks. You know what? We are going to be the stepchild. We're going Complex and Keen all the way.
All right, so I'm gonna give you an opportunity now. If you would like to shout out your own show, here on live, just so people can listen in and hear what you have to say as well.
Well, I'm doing a show myself and Mumba Rivera. We do it every Wednesdays and Sundays. Basically, what we're doing is we're contacting some of the Virgin Island legends, um, names that a lot of the youngsters probably never heard of. They probably heard of them, but never seen them play, never heard their stories. So we had a guy by the name of Stephen Hodge. We call him Beanie Pan. We had Tyrone Alec, which was before Tim Duncan when I was growing up. Tyrone Alec was the Virgin Islands best player, so to speak. Um, we're gonna have Crockwood Victor coming up next week Sunday. We're gonna have Keith Zowa Swanson. So a lot of people put the name to the face. So it's just an opportunity for you to hear these guys' stories. It's an opportunity for you to really see that the Virgin Islands had this type of talent. We're not really. I mean, what you're doing right now is actually excellent. I mean, you're doing something similar to me. We need a lot more of this. I'm hoping that we do get this Hall of Fame in terms of the Virgin Islands Hall of Fame, where a lot of our youths and youngsters will have the opportunity to see not just basketball talent, but all of the Virgin Islands. I mean, this is just basketball, but we have baseball, we have boxing, we have track and field. I mean, we basically have all the sport, but what? We don't have no type of history with anything. So it's just a way, just basically to kind of let these guys tell their stories. A lot of people heard about me, myself, heard about coffee and stuff like that, but the guys who came before us, a lot of people don't know who they are. So if you get an opportunity, just come out and check us out. It's a lot of fun. That's Wednesdays, every Wednesdays at 7 and every Sundays at 4. You can come and check us out, and you definitely will be laughing because we keep it real, and it's rated R, so you will hear a lot of stuff on there that we probably won't say on live. So it's all good, man. It's all good.
That's
You
good.
said you have some people asking a question. What are they? They have no question. They want one-on-one. What are they?
Who was your favorite coach of all time?
Well, this is gonna be hard because I have a lot of favorite coaches. So wow, I don't. I mean, obviously, it will have to be Dean Hayward because I've spent so many years with him at Educational Complex. He started me out in '95, and I'm still with him to this day. So I have gone beyond coach with him. He's more like a father figure to me. So excluding him, I will probably have to say, wow, that's gonna be tough. Because a lot of guys I like. I love CB to death. I'll have to say the coach Udor. He will have to be the most influential person in my life because he remade my game. He actually it's so hard to put in words. He made me into the player I am. He made me study, changed my discipline, he changed my eating habit. I mean, back then I never used to drink and I never used to smoke. Used to wake up early. I mean, hence notice I said back then, right? Because bullet.
Was there any
Just
point in
saying.
time
I'm
where you
just saying, like,
wanted to quit basketball?
yes, in Jacksonville University. That's why he's one of my greatest coaches because my first year was like living hell. We was playing great teams like Florida, Florida State, and I wouldn't play a minute. I was just sucking pine. I was like, dude, I'm leaving St. Croix scoring 40 points a game. I'm actually killing these guys in college. And one day, I went to Coach Durham and I said to him, look, man, you ain't playing me. I don't know why you're not playing me, but I would like to transfer. He sat me down. He says, Kevin, I can see you're a great player, but you don't know how to play. I mean, I was like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean I don't know how to play? He was like, you're a good player, but I need to teach you the game. You need to redshirt. So I was pretty mad. I called Coach Hayward, I called CB, like I said earlier in the show, and I'm like, man, I don't think this coach like me. I'm killing these guys in practice. I'm not playing any game. I'm watching all these teams I see on TV in Florida and Florida State. I would like a piece of these dudes, and I'm not getting no burn. I mean, guys in college just shouting out all kind of crap like "go back to the VI." I mean, it was just like, dude, it was like a whirlwind. And luckily for me, Coach Hayward at CB, they will be the voice of reason. Stick it out, listen to him, do what he has to say. He's a great coach. And I did, and I just made up my mind. Whoever was in practice, I was just gonna come the next day and bust your ass. That was it. If you was a senior, I could care less. I was gonna try to destroy you. I was gonna try to destroy you in sprints. I was gonna destroy you in suicides. I was first in everything. And after that first year, I redshirted. I came back. I started the next 4 years, and I became one of the best players in Jacksonville history. I'm wondering why the hell Jacksonville University hasn't retired my jersey yet, man. I was third in scoring. I was fifth in assists. What the hell is going on with JU?
I think you just send them my email. Emails I was.
Yeah, I can't politic it. I can't politic. That guy come natural. But
How
I
did you
mean,
manage?
the journey was tough, but in the end, it was rewarding because I understood what he was saying. I mean, a lot of time when you go to college and you get plays as a new player, you try to remember plays, meaning I need to go here, I need to go there, but you never understand, and it's a difference. It's a difference between remembering and understand. When you remember, you used to just run to your spot and stand up. You never did anything else. But when you understood what was going on, Now you can see, hey, this guy's cheating, I can backdoor. Hey, this guy's doing this, I can go this way. Hey, this. So now I became from trying to remember to just dissecting everything you did wrong. So at the end of my 4 years, I went to him and I ain't even like to. Tears came up my eyes and I had to tell him, thank you, man. I never knew I would have seen basketball the way how you taught me. Basketball became so easy. I was just destroying people nightly. I mean, the little small things he taught me in terms of when a guy close out, you need to attack his right foot. You attack his right foot, you can always step back. You get a jump shot. He can never block you because his first step, he has to step back. All these things I knew. A lot of people don't even know that, but I knew. Then I didn't even need to look at your foot because whatever hand you close out with, that's gonna be your top foot. Because if you close out left hand, left foot, that's gonna be your foot. Right hand, right. So I already know where I wanted to go before you even knew. And he just made my game into like a surgical. I was like Mossad, I was like just picking people to pieces, and I was getting cocky with it because I knew I was good. And it was just that was it.
How did you manage being a dual sport athlete?
Well, actually, when I saw that I was gonna be such a great player in basketball, soccer had to take a backseat, and I was like, and then let's be real. At the time, growing up in the Virgin Islands and in America, soccer was not really that big. I could have gotten a scholarship, but it was not like now. We weren't hearing about Messi and stuff like that. It was not that big, and we didn't have the MLS and stuff like that. So it was all about basketball, and plus when you play basketball, you get most of the women attention. And, I definitely wanted some of those come my way, so I definitely would choose basketball. So once I went to basketball and I realized that I was so ahead of of my competition, I just basically I didn't stop soccer because I do play it once in a while for cardio, but I didn't take it as seriously as basketball. So it wasn't really as hard to answer your question. It was just like I'm choosing basketball. That's going to be my career. Let's run with it. Let's go.
Would you consider doing a virtual basketball camp in order to raise the IQ of young players?
Well, hopefully that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing with Sports Park this summer. I mean, that's one of the things that we need to really develop in terms of the Virgin Islands, because once you get to Dorican and Charlotte, a lot of the players are so talented. That's one thing. We always have talented players. It's very hard to change talented players from doing what they've been doing to be successful to start doing it with your mind. I remember the first year I came to Complex and I started teaching these guys plays. These guys literally used to be like, man, you got me doing all of these stupid things. And he took again, I said, I'm just running ball, my son. My son, just let me run ball. Because that's what they did to make them successful. But I knew in order for you to get to that point where you can leave here and become successful, you better have some kind of knowledge of what you're doing on the court. First of all, you need to know positioning. You can't run any way you feel like. Okay, you got to know the terminology like ball reversal and DHO, which is dribble, handoff, high screen, jack screen, play screen. I mean, so many things that is within the game that we don't see on TV that's happening that a lot of our kids don't know.
Right.
The first day of college I went, here's my experience. I arrived at JU. Coach came. First practice. This is honest to God truth. Coach said, all right, guys, we're gonna do some secondary. Let's warm up. All right, I want the ones over there, twos over here, threes here, four here, 5 will be the trailer. 5 you'll go block to block, 4 you'll be the trailer. Okay, I want 1, 2, 3, 4 ball reversals. Let's get a shot. Let's do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and that will be our warm-up drill. Let's stretch and let's get a good practice. Everybody put their hand in together and said, 1, 2, 3, JU. And I was like, everybody in this effing team understand what the hell this man just said? Because I ain't know what the hell he just said. And I just felt so bad. I felt like, like the ugly duckling. I wanted to go as far behind the line as possible because I just didn't understand what he was saying. So the terminologies, I mean, that's another thing our kids need to know. These coaches doesn't talk like us in terms of set pick. And these coaches, oh, we want DHO. Make sure you set that high screen. Make sure you set that jack screen. Make sure you set that double high drag. Make sure you set that down screen. Play out for that. Why don't you gator switch? You should caboose. If you don't know these things, you're gonna be like lost. But it's not hard to learn, but you have to learn them.
In one final message, what advice do you have for the young athletes that would like to compete at the collegiate or a higher level?
My number one thing is, and I'm a stickler to this, because I'm a coach. First of all, you got to be a good student. And I never understood why you have to pass 70%. I think now it's 70%. Before, when I was in school, which is ironically, Coach Hayward we had to get over 80%. We had to be at a B average. Now, because of, whatever, you have to get a 70%. And I never really understood why you need to have a high grade point average to play basketball. It just seems like, dude, if I'm good, I'm good. Just let me play. But luckily for me, I was always a good student. I didn't like school like that. I don't know if that's a good message, but I wanted to play ball, so I did what I had to do to pass. But when I realized that that was so important was when you get to college and the NBA, because as your talent, you always gonna have talent, but your talent sometimes is gonna kind of plateau. As you go to the highest level, everyone has talent. Everyone is good. That's another misnomer no one understands. Everyone in the NBA is good. Everyone in college is the man of their team. So everyone is talented. What really separates you is your brain. And if you don't have the capability to develop your brain even further, you will not survive. The smartest players are who play professional. Ain't so much the most athletic. I mean, Tim Duncan probably can't even jump over a phone booth. No disrespect to you, Tim, but it's true. But you can't tell me Tim Duncan ain't one of the smartest players we've ever seen in our life. It's up here. So
Definitely.
If you don't take developing your mind and this educational serious, you have no shot. You have no shot. Because at the highest level, the only thing that's going to develop, it's going to be your brain. And once your brain develops into everything you understand about basketball, everything you know, then you will hear the term, the game is slowing down. People think that people is moving slower. People is not moving slower. It just means you understand everything, that you can see plays 3 and 4 steps before they even happen. And that what happened to me. I just started to understand. I just, from formation, because there's so many different formation in basketball, where it be 1-4, 1-4 out, 1 in, 1-5, 3-2, power. I could understand from the formation what you're trying to do, and I could read the play 3 and 4 steps ahead.
Right.
And all that came from the mind. So if you don't develop that mind, and it starts from education. So the message I will have to every young Virgin Islander, please make sure you develop that mind. Become a critical thinker and take the challenge. One thing that hurt me so bad when I was growing up, we always wanted to play against competition. Now I'm seeing a wave, whether it be at St. Thomas, whether it be at St. Croix, all the best players are going on one team, beating up on the weak links. If you are beating a team by 30 points or more, 40 points or more, it will do absolutely nothing for your game. At the professional level, every game is decided with 3 minutes or less. You will not watch the game if it's a blowout with 3 minutes left. The excitement comes with 3 minutes left in the game to see who is going to be mano y mano. And that's how it is at the professional level. And the only way you can survive that atmosphere is through competition, trial and error, sometimes being the GOAT, sometimes being the hero. But if you don't have competition in your life, when competition hits you, you're going to quit. You will quit. I always step on the court and I already know who is a quitter from who is tough. I can just watch you. It's like I can smell you. He don't want no smoke. He don't want no party. He don't want no partnership. I'm about to destroy you. So that comes from trial and error, education, competition, and the sky's the limit. Believing in yourself.
Definitely. I think everyone, thank you for joining our show. Again, a man of many hats, a professional athlete, a coach, a movie star, a sports park and recreation specialist and a mentor. We want to thank you for joining our show. We might have to get you back a second time because you suddenly get some more stuff
Man,
to talk about.
Shaq, it's an honor. I can talk all day. You know, I'm the voice. You know, that's my second name, the voice. So anytime you need me, man, you're on Shane, Rena. You know, that's my girl. She's been in basketball for a long, long time. That's my heart. Anytime you guys need me to spread a little knowledge, any stories you want to hear, any professional stories, holla at me. That's what I'm here for. That's what we all are here for. Our experience is supposed to be the advancement of future Virgin Island athletes. We have to be transparent to let them know what we've been through in order for them to see and let them know that if we did it, they can do it too. So I am here for you, bro. You holla anytime.
We definitely appreciate you. Next week, our guest right here on Between the Lines at 7 p.m. will be Mia Felix. Mia is a career college counselor as well as the owner of MVP Counseling, which gets you through the NCAA clearinghouse. She talks about SATs, ACTs, prep, and stuff like that. We want all the kids to tune in, all the parents to tune in, high school coaches, Department of Education, everybody to tune in so we can work together and find what we need to get these kids to be able to compete at the collegiate level after they're done high school. We have tons of potential, but if they're not prepared to go to the next level, that does no justice for them. So again, next week we will have Mia Felix, our college career counselor and owner of MVP Counseling. Everybody tune in. See you guys next week.
I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind.